So fancy. Thank you. All right, everybody, get ready. This is going to be awesome. I'm so excited. As you guys know, I've been thinking about this for quite some time. So we are going to get started. Welcome to the Own Your Life Masterclass. There is going to be an email that is in a guide in your email. So if you go back to your email, you can follow along or just listen. And you feel free to turn off your camera if you wish, because we're going to be recording this meeting. So if you've got your camera on, great. Also, in the chat box, we'll be typing questions at the end. So what I would recommend for you lovely people is if you click on the link that I said for your Own Your Life Masterclass and you clicked here to watch, if you click here for the worksheet, you can copy the document and you get your very own copy and it'll look like this. So if you want to type your questions, any questions you have, you can add them to this document as we go along. Now, today, what we're going to be doing, the table of contents, the agenda for this evening, we are going to be talking about the problem, why you're here. You feel like you don't own your life, and that's okay, because I'm going to help you. There's so much that I've learned that I'm just so excited to share with you guys. So we're going to go over the problem. We're going to talk about what hasn't worked. If you are here, it's probably because you're not feeling like you own your life. Then I'm going to go into the solution. I'm going to tell you what will work, how to own your life. Now, again, questions, if you could just keep them to the end so that with my brain, the chat box, if it's firing up, I will be super distracted. So if you could save them to the end, that would be awesome. And then we're going to talk about the program. We'll talk about how to continue leveling up. And if you click here, there's a mute button. So if you need to mute up, awesome stuff. That would be ideal just till the end. Okay. So here is the thing. If you feel like you are kind of out of control in your life, if you're feeling like, whoo, there is a lot of things. If I want to own my life, I'm guessing that the problem is that you have had a lot of control and effort and focus in the wrong place. And this is not your fault, my friends, because society never teaches you how to focus your control and effort. Let me guess, if you're feeling like you don't control your life, what happens is you might be seeing things like you're trying to control other people, especially in the area of your job and in your life. If you are trying to change other people, if you're like, oh, my boss just never changes. If you are trying to work through, I'm like thinking here, let me do. Okay, perfect. So I'm guessing it's probably because you're trying to control maybe the job that you have. It might be because you're trying to change the project you're working on, if this is a control in your life kind of deal. That focus and effort is awesome. The problem is you keep trying to control all these things and you keep feeling exhausted. You're like, why isn't anything working? Why don't I feel like I own my life? I work really hard. I feel like I'm organized. I feel like I'm trying to get everything into the way that I want it to be. And the problem is, it's because you're putting your effort in the wrong direction. It's misdirected. So I feel like I picked this picture because I was like, I feel like she's like talking to someone like, hey, can you fix this? Hey, can you do this? And she's killing it, but she isn't owning her life because, as they say, and I looked it up and I think it's Napoleon that said this, which I didn't love. So I took him off the quote, but I said, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself, which seems counterintuitive. You might be like, well, I feel like maybe I can control someone. Maybe I can have influence on someone else. And you can. You can try and change your circumstances. The problem is it's going to be a lot harder and a lot more effort than if you just focus in on you. So the solution, and why I picked this one is because it's like you turn the mirror on yourself. You have to redirect your focus in on yourself because you cannot change other people. I wish that we could. Sometimes I'm like, I wish I was the king, queen of the world and I could just change everyone so it could just work out the way I want it to. But the beauty of being a human being is that you actually do have the power. In your life, you have something that sets, as human beings, we are a lot of the times glorified animals, but hey, a lot of times we are glorified animals. And what happens,
Wow.
I'm just going to mute you. It's like, turn that bad boy off. So, what sets you apart is that we have the power. I know, Ma, you keep on muting. Can you stop? I love it though. So, what we're going to do is we are going to go in and we are going to talk about how you can take back the power in your life in 3 different aspects. You can take back the power with your thoughts. You can take back the power with your feelings, and you can take back your actions. So if you're like, what in the world? What? I don't even understand what you mean by a thought. A thought is just a sentence in your brain. We as human beings have awesome, beautiful brains, and they have thoughts that's very different than any other animal. They fire and there's an electrical impulse. And it's like, yeah, that exists. Like you're probably like, yeah, okay, Megan, of course I have thoughts. I'm like a human. But you have the power to change your thoughts. It's absolutely remarkable. You also you're probably aware that you have emotions. You're probably aware that you have feelings like happy, sad, elated, devastated, all of these feelings that you have. And when you have a neurological impulse or a neurological pulse, the neuron that fires, it actually releases hormones and chemicals that are your feelings, my friends. And from those feelings, you're physiologically actually and behaviorally do different things, or you don't do things. Those are your actions. And from that place, you create the results in your life. So if we're talking about empowering you to own your life, this is amazing because I can give you back control. And by the way, you always had control, but I can teach you how to control your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions to create different results. So if you are currently creating a result of you not owning your life, you can change it. Now, if you look at this cycle, what we call the model, the thoughts are where things begin. This is where you have that electrical pulse in your brain. I am going to teach you this evening how to start with your thoughts to change the result of you owning your life. However, I've got good news and I've got bad news. The good news is you can change your thoughts. The bad news is you have 90,000 thoughts a day. So if you're like me and you just learned that your thoughts create your feelings and your actions and your results, you probably want to change everything. You're probably like, oh my gosh, I want to learn what's going on in my subconscious. I want to learn what's going on in my primitive brain, which is what we call it. I want to see everything and make everything something that it empowers me. But you have 60 to 90,000 thoughts a day. I went with the more dramatic number. But it's like with those 90,000 thoughts a day, we can't change all of them all at once. So I was thinking about what I could teach you how to change in this very evening. And the 2 skills that I'm going to teach you how to utilize are called metacognition and neuroplasticity, which are fancy words. But metacognition is the thought, the power that we have as a human being is not only to have thoughts, but we can think about our thoughts. It's truly remarkable. You can actually understand what you're thinking in this very moment. You might be thinking, "Oh, I'm not very comfortable in this chair," or, "Oh, what am I going to do tomorrow?" Or, "What is Megan even meaning about all this?" And you can actually start to hear your thoughts and gain awareness for what you're thinking in any moment. Amazing. So exciting. Pause for effect. The next thing that I'm going to teach you how to do is like, not only can you see the thoughts that are in your brain, but I'm going to teach you how to change those thoughts tonight. It's amazing. You can change your brain. They didn't know this until very recently, but have you ever heard, I'm sure you have heard of the saying that your brain isn't fully developed till you turn 25? Yeah, you might have heard of that. It's because that last little part of your brain is called your prefrontal cortex. It's right here, located right behind your forehead. And it is the part of your brain that is responsible for logical decision making and processes. So you can actually change your brain. If you were to do an MRI of people, they've done them where you can literally see that their neurological highways have literally changed by doing thought work and things like this. Like, what? So cool. So again, I was like, how could I teach them how to think about what they're thinking and change their thinking? And the way that I decided to do this is by teaching you about mornings. Mornings are, you might be thinking, okay, like mornings, like if you're teaching me how to own my life, like why just mornings? I chose it because I think that first off, it's how you begin your day. It's how you start things. So if we can clean up all of the stuff that's in your brain about mornings, then you can choose intentionally the way you want to go. I'm going to teach you 2 tools to do this. It's like one tool encompassed in this training. What I'm going to teach you how to do is when you think about a junk drawer, and teach you how to clean out the junk drawer that is in your brain by doing a thought download. It's like a computer program. You just have to download all of your thoughts in the morning. Now, we have patterns and we have beliefs around mornings that society teaches you and you internalize in your self concept. So, you have a way of thinking about mornings that has been programmed probably since you were a very young child. And so, we're going to download it, we're going to figure out what's in there. Then, if you think about morning, it's like, let's make the bed. Let's figure out how to make your brain clean, organized, and a place that will serve you with your mornings. The reason why I chose this is because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you can change the way that you think about mornings, it will change the way you show up in your life. So I'm going to give you guys a minute. Let's do 3 minutes to change the way that you think about mornings. Okay. We're going to do 3 minutes starting on the clock now. If you would like to click on again, if you click on the email, click on the worksheet, make your own copy, and we're going to list out all of your thoughts about mornings. I'm going to give you some examples. This is hard. I don't want to do this. I want to stay in bed. Think about all the thoughts. This is the skill of metacognition. You're thinking about what you think about in the mornings. I will play a song because I like songs and I hope you enjoy it. Making these nice and dramatic for y'all. Think about your thoughts in the morning. Take one more minute to think about your thoughts in the morning. We're going to get back to your previously scheduled programs. So, deep, deep, deep. Okay. So that is what I do every single morning, by the way. And something that I have my clients do as well. It's like every morning we just clean up all these things and the thoughts. Because a lot of times, one of the things I've learned and heard before is that you do so many things unconsciously all the time. But from that second that you wake up, if you can start making conscious decisions, and I'm going to say that this is for tomorrow morning, you actually get to choose how you show up tomorrow morning. So, Wednesday on the 30th, if you had a choice, because you do, you have a choice every day, even if it doesn't feel like it, you can choose how you want to show up instead. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take another minute and we're going to think about this is the metacognition skill, thinking about thinking. Here's where you're going to get a little bit of neuroplasticity, where you're going to change one of your thoughts or beliefs into something that is going to serve you. I call it a limiting belief to an empowering belief. And you can choose to think whatever you want tonight. No one, and this is a lot of societal messaging. This is hard. I don't want to do this. I want to stay in bed. Today's going to suck. And I retire now. 5 more minutes. What am I doing today? I am not a morning person. This, my friends, might be a belief about who you are. Like, yeah, it's just who I am. Guess what? You can change who you are. If not being not being a morning person is serving you, totally fine. Keep it up. I would never judge you. But if you realize that you kind of want to be a morning person, you can change your thoughts. Now, change can happen when you think about changing your brain. There are 2 ways to do that. The first way is through repetition, practicing and repeating different thoughts that serve you in your brain. The second way is through intensity. So I want you to think about, like, if you change a habit, some people say it takes 30 days. So that's the repetition way, the way that you can change it. However, you're experiencing the intensity of a mastermind tonight, a masterclass. In this moment, you can have an intense enough experience to understand how your brain is working and choose intentionally to change away. And it can take just this one night and it can change for the rest of your life. Kid you not. That's why you hear about people who have been smokers their entire lives and they get a diagnosis that they've got lung cancer or something and they quit smoking on an instant. You can change your beliefs right now in this moment. So pick one of your fun thoughts. And I'm going to pick the one, I don't want to do this. I picked this thought because tomorrow I decided I'm going to do yoga at 5:45 in the morning. And and I know that my thought usually in the morning is like, oh my God, I don't want to do this. Even though I love yoga and intentionally, like, I understand that, still my brain is like, ooh, and there's this thing called the motivational triad, which means that you want to seek comfort, avoid discomfort, and conserve energy. So waking up at 5:45 or waking up at 5:15 is going to burn energy. It is going to be actively seeking discomfort of a workout. And it's not going to be enjoying the comfort of my sweet little bed here. It's going to set my brain on fire. It's going to be like, I don't want to do this, obviously. But I get to choose. And I can think about this idea of want And I can choose with that word want, and I can change it to like, I actually do want to do this. And this being the yoga class at 5 a.m., 5:45. So early. But then I can think about the reasons why, and I can be like, add a little bit onto it. And I could say, I want to do this because I will get to show up as the person I want to become. And the person I want to become, people, is someone who works out in the morning. And it's kind of part of my self-concept already, the way I view myself. But I want to become the kind of person who takes care of herself consistently, who respects and acknowledges the all that my body does and all that my body can do. And I want to make sure that 50 years down the line, I still feel pretty good. And also I can be a little mindful in yoga and I can manage my brain as well. So pick your limiting belief, change it to an empowering belief. You have 1 minute. I'll give you 2. And you can do this for all of these if you want. Take about 1 more minute. Also, make sure it's something that you believe. Don't just go from this is hard to this is easy and fantastic, because your brain won't believe sunshine and rainbows and unicorns. Do something that you believe for sure. Wrap it up. All right. All right. So, like I said previously, this is something that I do every morning, every single day. And what I want to offer to you all that are listening to this live or replayed is that how you do one thing is how you do everything. If you can start to own your mornings, you can start to own your days and your weeks and your months and your years. And then, yes, you can start to own your life. If you can use the skill of metacognition to realize what you're thinking about, maybe more serious things, quote unquote, like your job, your career, your relationships, your time on this planet, you can change it to something that will empower you for the rest of your life. And it will give you agency over something that you can control. Because, like I said, you can't control other people, you can't control the circumstances in your life, but you get to control how you show up in the world. Boom. That is it. Thank you all very much. I'm going to answer some questions if you have them. Type them in the chat, or if you feel weird about asking questions on a webinar, you can send them to me or everybody. A question that I was thinking of before I made this is like, what happens when circumstances out of our control happen? Like, let's say the power went out and my alarm didn't go off. How can I control my mornings then? And for that, I actually like to have a plan in place already. So I like to expect the unexpected. And I'm like, okay, when traffic's here, how do I want to show up? When my alarm doesn't go off when I thought it would, how do I want to show up? When I forget that thing at home that I needed for a presentation, how do I want to show up? So again, it's like always having a plan for the empowering choice. Because again, and I don't know if I said this before, but whatever you're not changing, you choose. And your brain will choose default, the easiest thing that's possibly there. So this is something that might take a little effort and time, but worth it. I also love you guys. I'm just so glad you're here. It's pretty cool stuff. This is why I love coaching so much because it's pretty awesome. If we don't have any questions just yet, I'm going to talk about how coaching can keep you owning your life all the time. So the 3 steps that I've found for coaching that are so powerful is that we will work together and build awareness. I call it your self-concept, but your brain has taken in 2 million bits of information per second, and it's created programming for who you are as a person. So I have Megan programming within me. You have Sally, Joe programming within you. That's happened because of your past. And it's like that nature versus nurture thing. We can't really change the nature. So we work on changing the nurturing. What happened to you and for you and against you in your brain chooses the way that you're showing up in the world. So we build awareness for that. And we figure out how you have shown up in the world and how you use your resources. We figure out how, and money, time is the most important one though, because you can't get time back. You can make more money. You can never get this hour or 30 minutes back, which is why I really appreciate you guys showing up. Then you choose. You get to choose what your passion is. You get to choose what direction you want to go in the world. If you thought changing your empowering to limiting beliefs thing was cool, you get to choose how you do that in every aspect of your life. And for me, what I choose to focus on is your contribution in the world. How are you growing and how are you changing the world, which usually comes in the form of your career. So if you want to learn how to choose, how to take on your intentional future, that's what I do. And then I teach you how to change. It's a lot when your brain will resist everything. Again, brains don't know good or bad. So when you're changing and going through lots of change, like I've been going through lots of changes recently, I help you to bring you back to equilibrium, help you become grounded so that you don't look to external circumstances ever again. You don't look to people. You don't look to your job. You become your source of safety, security, and fulfillment. So you're empowered for a lifetime of success. Which is pretty cool. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, I do a free 1-hour consult with anyone who's like, I want to keep owning my life. And I will tell you the path that I would take for you in our 10 months together. I would teach you exactly how I would work with you in whatever struggles that you're having and teach you how we would reprogram your brain. Because that's essentially what coaching is. I'm like the brain programmer. So pretty cool stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so, so much again. If you have any questions, my email is meganwingcoaching@gmail.com. It's included in the follow-up email. My phone number, if you want to jot it down, it's 919-601-0686. And if you want to learn more about me, that's my site. That is all. I love you guys so much. I'm going to respect your time and message me if you have any questions. That is all. Have a good night, guys.